I want to say one thing before we start. I'd love if everyone who's being inducted on the men's side tonight would stand up with your glass. There's a very special man here with us that we owe a huge thank you to. So I would love if we would stand and toast Bill Manning. None of us would be here. Maybe Jordan would have been here. None of us would be here without Bill Manning. Jesse, I'm going to embarrass you slightly. Come stand behind me. So in 2016, I was waking up from surgery and someone was rubbing my legs. In normal circumstances, this would have been my then girlfriend and now wife, but she too was waking up from surgery in another room. So as I groggily opened my eyes, who was sitting in the bed at the base of my hospital bed in the middle of New Hampshire, rubbing my legs as I was near naked in a hospital gown? It was Jesse Oberst. So there's a point to this. It is tempting to remember 2004 as a long highway littered with green lights for us. We were by then the self-proclaimed God Squad. Half of us believed in God and the other half thought we were God. The only crew that had seriously challenged us for the last 2 years had been our JV, which was helmed by Alex Chastain Chapman, who is our captain, and we're very glad is here tonight with us. And unlike 2003, from the very start, we were favored to win, and we did with sort of obnoxious-sized margins in the way we raced. But the true test of character of a crew is not how many green lights you get to endure over the course of a season. It's how you endure the red lights. And we had a lot of those too. People don't always think about it, but we actually lost 4 times in 2004. We lost 3 times as USA #2 at the Lucerne World Cup. We also lost in the grand final to Henley in a race that has been made famous by Winklevoss Capital's propaganda arm. In other years, we all either lost races that we wanted to win or missed making the boats that we wanted to make, something that was devastating then and I know still stings today. And then there's the work. You know, for every minute we raced, we trained for thousands. We ran stadiums just over there at sunset. We trudged down to the boathouse in the early morning to do 60 minutes on the erg. We seat raced ad nauseum in early misty marches. Some of the most violent competition I've ever been a part of. But what makes it special was that we almost never did it alone. You know, Justin Bosley was almost always beside me in the stadium racing up those steps. I think of Wayne Palman and Will Rifflemacher, who's not here tonight, but we wish he was always there on the erg, going longer than I was, and me having to follow. And then Cha-Cha, you were always across the powerhouse from me as we did those seat races we did the battle paddle to those famous words, on this one. So the simple point I want to express is this. The Harvard Varsity Club has brought us together tonight to celebrate those green lights, and we're really happy they did. But what brings us together again and again are those red lights. We don't text each other on each other's birthdays because we trounced Yale at Red Top. We don't console each other with the passing of a parent or a wife's health problems because we won at Henley. We don't come together as we did to celebrate the greatest of men, Perry Parker, whose wife and daughter are here with us tonight, which is very special for us. We don't come together to celebrate Harry just because he was the one who guided us all along the way. And Jesse wasn't rubbing my legs after a kidney transplant in 2016 because we moved a boat backwards pretty quickly 12 years earlier. We do these things because of those red lights. And that's what makes what we did special. And so, John, you're starting to cry, and I'm going to cry if you keep going. I do want to raise a toast. It was a wonderful experience with a wonderful group of people. We are immensely privileged, and it has been an immense privilege to know all of you. I love you all, so thank you so much for this.
Years ago, Kip wrote an article for Rowing News and described our team. He said, What set our group apart was that we were, simply put, willing to endure large amounts of discomfort in order to stand out. As a coxswain, I never endured much physical discomfort. Yeah. I did observe it from up close, largely through a 35mm camera. And I still think and I live in images from those days. And there's two that frame my memory of those times. And there are two actually that are on your tables now. The first was from 2003 at Red Top. It's a posed portrait. Steve Brooks took it of us. In my mind's eye, it's a golden sunset on a June afternoon. Cocksure, joyful boys. There's a riot of colors. We have Dowling jerseys, Washington jerseys, Cal jerseys, an old antique Harvard uni. The hair was long and salty for swims in the Thames or Thames. The smiles were unruly but easy. Chests were puffed, but the shoulders were just relaxed and loose. Harry standing beside us. It's a wind-worn pair of corduroys and a polo. Ubiquitous beef broth cups around us. Look, it's a posed portrait, but the group is easy, unworried, comfortable with each other, natural with one another. The second image that frames my memory, at least in my head, it's on my mother's refrigerator at home. It's a July 2001 afternoon, again, this time on the Thames. Cloudy, dark British sky, that gray, brown, green Thames water. Parents in their 50s, mothers in wide brim hats, fathers in fedoras, bucket hats, baseball caps, Stetsons, blazers festooned with 5 days of badges. And they too look relaxed, supportive, joyful, proud, arms wrapped around each other. They knew each other for a year. My father, a proud man, the most proud head mom of Harvard crew, stands top of his head to the chin of all of the other fathers, likely standing in a pothole, I'm sure. At least my mother tells me. Look, I feel gratitude for that moment, deep, deep gratitude. Just as all the rowers and coaches who made our community were not in that Red Top image. All of the parents were not there that night, and all of those rowers and coaches and parents aren't here tonight. But in gratitude for that support, I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to raise a glass and thanks to the parents. Thank you guys very much. Look, it's interesting to me. The images that go in my mind so readily are not moments of discomfort. They're moments of comfort, connection, and community. They're moments of joy. But Kip's right. Rowing is not, it's right. It's not about all joy, right? It's about the group's ability to endure discomfort together. That's one thing we learned. Kip, after all, wrote that article that he put on Rowing News as an open letter to me after my father died. Everyone suffers. Suffering is part of the world. In our lives, we collectively have and will experience family, professional, relationship, mental, physical pain. But it's the same community for me that reached those joys that has also supported us as we've all gone through those moments. And so now as a parent, I sit here and I reflect on those images. And I really wish the same for my son and for all of you and your kids here too. It's not the victories, the public acknowledgement, the Hall of Fame, or even Harvard admission. I hope that he finds on his path the unwavering support, the challenge, and the care from community that I got from all of you in his life. So thank you all very much.